Oh my God, Jordan. Wait, can I start? The Senate will come to order. We will now have a moment of reflection. We will now hear the convocation of today's Senate session. Chief of Staff Velez is recognized to deliver the convocation.
Ends are not bad things. They just mean that something else is about to begin. And there are many things that don't really end anyway. They just begin again in a new way. See Joy Bell C.
Thank you, Chief of Staff Velez. The clerk will call the roll.
Augsbach Lama, Alvar Rivera, Badinsky, Baber, Bertie, Bourdois, Bowie, Bryant, Creed, Curry, Duty, Farmer, Jeep, Hager, Hurd, Hensley, Hyatt, Hudson, Proxy?
Proxy.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Iftikhar, Koo, Kuhn, Lamb, Lewis, Lloyd, Malachi, McLean, Murkison, Morgan, Navarez, Overton, Pasu Marthy, Phillips, Rangavajula, Riley, Ravi, Rice, Ryder, Smith, Surface, Thacker, Ty.
And the clerk will mark Senator Iftikhar as present. With the quorum being present, is there a motion to approve the Journal of February 22nd, 2023 as found online? Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. We are now in line for reports from Senate leadership. Speaker Pro Tempore Lloyd is recognized to deliver his report on the Rules Committee.
All right, well, hello everyone. Welcome to the last Senate of our term. So, as per usual, rules met for the last time this last Sunday at 6 p.m. We basically went around the table and reflected on the term, everyone's accomplishments, and just kind of checking in on everyone and seeing how everyone's doing. Additionally, we have 6 new pieces of legislation on the first reading calendar, as well as 7 on the second, so obviously we have a lot to get through today. So for the last time, I'm asking for everyone to be expeditious, ask questions only pertaining that are germane and everything like that. And additionally, we have 2 bills up today. One will be going on to the first reading and will carry on to the next term, considering, so it would be on like the second reading beginning at the 115th Senate. And then The second one, I'm going to motion shortly to add it to the second reading, so it can be passed today. This is just because the one that's being added to the second reading is much more procedural, and the first one is kind of a major change to the codes, so we're not going to try and rush that process. And then lastly, I'm happy to report that we made it all the way to SBL 11498, which I believe is close enough to 100. So congratulations to everyone for getting 100 pieces of legislation this year. And I guess last but not least, I motion to add SBL 11492 to the second reading.
You can do that during the motion period.
I will wait to do that during the motion
Thanks.
period. All right. And with that, I yield the questions.
The Speaker Pro Tempore yields to questions. Are there any questions for Speaker Pro Tempore Lloyd? Seeing none, thank you. And the clerk will mark Senator Kuhn as present. We will now hear a report from the Academics Committee. Chairwoman Hyatt, you are recognized.
Hey everyone, welcome to the last Senate session. It's kind of bittersweet, I'm not gonna lie. I don't really have a report from my committee, but I did just want to take a minute to thank the Academics Committee. It's been a really great year. We got a lot accomplished. I came into this chair position being brand new to Senate, and every single person in my committee was also brand new to Senate. And despite that, we really hunkered down and got a lot of things done. We advocated for increasing access and affordability to textbooks, increasing office hours that professors hold. We expanded the headshots on the horseshoe program, and we had another great piece of legislation about not having exams on the first meeting after a university break. Every one of my committee members was always so passionate about what they were doing, so I just really want to thank each and every one of y'all for a great year. And with that, I yield to questions.
The chairwoman yields to questions. Are there any questions for Chairwoman Hyatt? Seeing none, thank you. We will now hear a report from the Finance Committee. Chairwoman Augsbach-Lama, you are recognized.
Hi everyone, the Finance Committee met on Friday at 2:30 as per usual, but then we also met about 10 minutes before we came into Senate just to make sure that every organization that needed to hear their request out got to. And with that, we actually just, last week we had allocated the last of the Senate organization budget, but we just fully spent the rest of the budget. So that's been fully allocated, which is really cool because that hasn't been done in a while. But other than that, you'll see the normal legislation as per usual. And I just want to thank my committee, and I can't wait to see how those who are returning continue with Senate. I yield to questions.
Let's give a round of applause for using the whole budget. All right, the chairwoman yields to questions. Are there any questions for Chairwoman Augsbach-Lama? Chairwoman Smith.
Yeah. By spent, I mean, like, because there was a couple that hadn't, like, gone through with the reimbursement process earlier, so they weren't, but yes. So, short answer, yes.
Are there any further questions for Chairwoman Augsbach-Lama? Seeing none, thank you. We will now hear a report from the Health and Safety Committee. Chairman Duty, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So we met at 7 p.m. on Monday, per usual, and I just also wanted to say that it's bittersweet giving the last report for health and safety. It's been such an honor to serve in this position, and it really allowed me to kind of blossom into something that I wanted to make Senate into, but didn't necessarily feel like I had the platform to. So getting into what we did, we just talked about my transition documents. I really want to make it extremely fleshed out so when the next person comes in, they can hit the ground running. There's a lot of projects that we didn't have the ability to finish this term, so I'm leaving those in. I'm going to leave it very extensive, and then whenever we find out who the next health and safety chair is, I want to forward all those emails to them so that they can, if they do wish to do these projects, they have all the resources they need. So I wanted to take a minute to give thanks to Speaker Trimble for making my transition extremely easy. I was in my first week and I was already starting projects because she made it so easy for me. I also wanted to say thank you to the Division Secretary of Health and Wellness, Blake Gibbons. He came to every other meeting, and I think he really exemplifies what every secretary should be doing, if they have the time to, of course. But he's been great. He helped all of the senators if they ever needed anything. He helped me a lot. We helped each other out, and it was really a working relationship that I really want to see go forward with health and safety in the next year. I also wanted to say congrats to Senator Farmer. She got into her dream school, which is UNC Chapel Hill. And then I also want to say congratulations to Senators Kuhn, Creed, and Ravi for getting reelected for the Senate. Everybody in my committee, I expect great things from them, and I know they're great people and they are going to do great things. So I'm excited to see that. And with that, I yield my time to questions.
The chairman yields to questions. Are there any questions for Chairman Duty? Seeing none. We will now hear a report from the Inclusion and Equity Committee. Chairwoman McLean, you are recognized.
Hello, everyone. So Inclusion and Equity met as usual on Sunday at 12, and we found SBL 87 unanimously favorable. And I'm going to miss giving these reports to you guys, but I hope everyone that is going to be in the 115th Senate has an amazing time. And with that, I yield to questions.
The chairwoman yields to questions. Are there any questions for Chairwoman McLean? Seeing none. We will now hear a report from the Judiciary Committee. Chairwoman Smith, you are recognized.
Hello, everyone. The Judiciary Committee just met this evening where we voted on SBL 11488 through SBL 11491. We found them all unanimously favorable. We also conducted an interview of Joseph Bugmeyer for Chief Justice. We also found him unanimously favorable. And with that, I yield to questions.
The chairwoman yields to questions. Are there any questions for Chairwoman Smith? Seeing none, thank you. We will now hear a report from the Powers and Responsibilities Committee. Chairwoman Tai, you are recognized.
Hi, everybody. So Powers and Responsibilities met Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. We had an interview of the Chief Justice nominee. He was found unanimously favorable. And we also found SBL 11488 through 11491 favorable. It's kind of sad. I'm a senior. So as I spoke to my committee about, and as I will relate all of you guys, I've had the privilege of being a first-term senator and a chair. So my learning curve was very steep. And I wanted to thank everybody who was ever in Powers and Responsibilities, especially the people who were there in the beginning who was learning with me. I really appreciated you guys letting me be your chairwoman for the term. I expect great things of everybody. I am so proud of everybody who had the courage to interview and have been in. I have seen nothing but amazing things, and I am honestly happy to say that everybody who came to Powers and Responsibilities to get interviewed was always given the best chance. They were never looked down upon, and there was never, ever going to be a biased stigma, and we've tried to make it a very safe place. And I believe that the quality of candidates that we had come into the 114th via interview have proved that. So I hope that everyone moving forward, you just hold that in your heart to know that people are going to make mistakes. People have the ability to learn, and sometimes you just have to take a chance on people, especially if they show you that they're trying. And if you guys ever need me, I'm here. I don't put down my phone, so my email will always be open. But thank you guys so much for allowing me to grow, and I want to also thank all the pros and pores that we've had and the cheers for working with me while we all transitioned during different periods. It's been a pleasure working with you all, and it's also been a pleasure bringing things that I never dreamed I'd be able to do to life. So I appreciate that. I yield to questions.
The chairwoman yields to questions. Are there any questions for Chairwoman Tai? Seeing none, thank you. We will now hear a report from the Student Life Committee. Chairwoman Malachi, you are recognized.
Hi everyone, happy Wednesday. So just like a few other chairs, this was my first term coming in Senate, and it has been truly an honor being the chairwoman of the Student Life Committee. We've put out quite a bit of legislation and as well orchestrated the Ask a Senator program, which I think was extremely successful. I just want to say, just like everyone else, I'm really proud of my senators. Whether you're coming back or not, I think everyone did incredible, and it's been great working with all of you. And with that, I yield my time to questions.
The chairwoman yields to questions. Are any questions for Chairwoman Malachi? Seeing none, thank you. We will now hear a report from the Sustainability Committee. Chairman Rangavajula, you are recognized.
Good evening, everyone. Sort of a busy week for sustainability. Last Friday, we had a sustainability roundtable conference of sorts with a couple of organizations across campus within the field of sustainability as part of a longer ongoing initiative to bring together different perspectives on sustainability and present a more coalesced force to better the university. So we had representatives from South Carolina Waterworks Association, the Graduate Student Association, Sustainable Carolina, Office of Undergraduate or Office of Sustainability, as well as a couple other places all over campus. So we had opportunity to share great ideas and hopefully move forward working as a collective force to see them through. Also yesterday there was a roundtable conference on environmental justice. A couple professors here from USC, including Dr. Nelson, Dr. Mohammed, and Dr. Hardy, where we all talked about how human health and environmental safety can be sacrificed for certain groups to benefit others, which was pretty enlightening, and we got to have good discussion. So that's my report. Beyond that, I as well am honored to have been able to serve you all, or serve alongside you all in the Student Senate. I unfortunately will not be returning for the next term as an elected senator due to other commitments that take my time away, but hopefully I'll be able to return as a vacant seat to help benefit the populace alongside you all in the next term. So thanks once again for a great term through the craziness of it all, and I wish you the best with everything in your future. With that, I yield to questions.
The chairman yields to questions. Are any questions for Chairman Rangavajula? Seeing none, thank you. We will now hear a report from the Freshman Council. Are the representatives from the Freshman Council present? Seeing none, we will now hear a report from the Constitutional Council. Seeing none? Seeing none. We will now hear a report from Speaker of the Senate, Natalie Trimble. Chief of Staff Velez, you are recognized.
All right, so first things first, the SG Awards form is in the group meet. Please vote. It closes tonight at midnight, and I would love to see a bunch of Senate people winning those awards. You know, I'm a little bit biased, but, you know, it is what it is. So stay alert for merch order forms for cords and other award forms coming in the group meet. That's just, you know, so that you can get your credit. Natalie's going to be cleaning out the garden gate. If you've gotten a notification, I have, about things that have been approved. Don't worry about it. It's just us cleaning up so that next term it's not as bad and messy. And today is the last Senate session, so do not come next Wednesday. It will be empty in here, and that will be really awkward. And with that, I yield to questions.
The Chief of Staff yields to questions. Are any questions for Chief of Staff Velez? Seeing none, thank you. We will now hear a report from Student Body Vice President Maya Porzio. Vice President Porzio, you are recognized.
Okay, hi everyone. So just a couple quick things. We mentioned the awards banquet, so just if y'all are available to try and come to that, we would love to have you there. All of VP staff should be there and freshman council, so excited to participate in all of that with you guys. And then one kind of last thing that I wanted to keep on everyone's radar, we are doing one final programming event for the year for Swipe Out Hunger. So this was a program that was started about 3 years ago with Davis Latham kind of taking the charge in Senate, and then it got moved to the VP's office a little bit, and COVID put a damper on it, so we weren't able to do the drive and actually collect the swipes. But this year we want to go ahead and try and bring that back because Airmark in the time being has been making up for our lack of a drive by just donating meal plans. Now, they said if we can raise more swipes than they originally promised to donate, they'll honor however many swipes that we raise. So we're going to do it on the 15th and the 16th. If you're able to come, this semester alone, we had 120 applications of students who are facing food insecurity, are going hungry on our campus, don't have a meal plan, and can't afford to eat. So that's what this is for. So if this is something that speaks to you and you want to kind of give back to the Carolina community, we would really, really appreciate seeing you guys out there on March 15th. And 16th from 11 to 2. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be going around the Russell House convincing first-year students, especially with meal plans, to donate like one of their 7 retail swipes to go to this program. So just something to keep on your radar. Other than that, I yield my time to questions and just want to say thank you guys all so much for an amazing year. It's been a lot of fun to be able to come up and meet with you guys every single week.
The Vice President yields to questions. Are any questions for Vice President Porzio? Senator Navarez.
16th, March 16th. That will be at 5:30, and for the state of the student body, and then the awards will start at 6:30 p.m.
Senator Duty.
So that was another question that got asked to me by my staff. That's something I'm going to have to follow up with the Carolina Card office on, because I know that they weren't able to donate, because a lot of the way that the meal plan works is all access, so they're able to swipe in as many times as they want. So they can't donate that, but they could do meal swipes. I wonder if there's a way that we could work it to do dining dollars. I'll try and look and figure that out, but we've worked it out so that when somebody swipes on the scanner, it'll physically take the meal plan, the meal swipe off of their card and put it in a reserve bank for us to be able to give out to other students. So I'll check on money wise. I'm not sure.
Senator Bourdois.
So the banquet is going to be in the Leadership and Service Center. The state of the student body is in this room right here. So that'll be at 5:30. There's going to be a 30-minute mingling period in between the two. We're going to have food, snacks, and then we'll have awards afterwards, which hopefully you guys have seen the fun questions that you can nominate people for. And then once those close, we're going to have some very serious nominations come out, as in best in programming initiative of the year, just initiative in general, who was the biggest volunteer. So those ones are going to be more official, I guess you could say.
Are there any further questions for Vice President Porzio? Seeing none, thank you. We are now in line for a report from the student body president, Reedy Newton. President Newton, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Good afternoon, Senators. Like previously mentioned, the State of the Student Body will be March 16th at 5:30 p.m. in this room, and then the reception will take place in the Leadership and Service Center starting at 6 with SG Awards starting at 6:30. So please make sure you're there. We're really going to recap what a great year we've had. So that's the reception on March 16th. In addition, the inauguration of new senators and the new executive officers will take place on March 22nd. And congratulations to our new set of executive officers and senators. Special shout out to Emmy, Aubriana, Cameron, and Hannah. We're very excited for y'all. I wanted to shout out the Elections Commission as well for a great elections process. Thank you to all the candidates for a smooth elections process. And we're very excited for the next set of administration. We've been holding a lot of transition meetings, and we're excited to help transition the next administration for a strong year in student government to continue on. In addition, CAB, the Congressional Advisory Board, just returned back from D.C. today. They went over the weekend to advocate in D.C. To our senators and representatives. They had great conversations surrounding hazing prevention, mental health, DEI, and other topics. I'm very excited for them to be able to share that report, and we're going to put it on the website. They also had the opportunity to interact with some USC alum and some SG alum, so that was just super, super special, and I'm so happy that trip was finally able to go after all the work that GR's done, not only this year, but the past couple of years with COVID and legislative offices being closed. But with that, for the last time, I yield my time to questions.
The president yields to questions. Are any questions for President Newton? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you.
We are now in line for special orders of the Senate. Are there any letters, petitions, appointments, applications, or other the clerk will read? Seeing none. Seeing no more special orders of the Senate, we are now in the motion period. Are there any consent requests or motions? Speaker Pro Tempore Lloyd. There's been a motion to add SBL 11492 to the second reading calendar. All in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. It is added to the second reading calendar. Are there any further consent requests or motions? Chairwoman Smith. There's been a motion to confirm Chief Justice Buchmeyer to the Constitutional Council. All in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The nominee is confirmed. Is there a motion to dispense of the rules to allow him to take his oath of office? Without objection, so ordered. And Speaker Pro Tempore Lloyd, you may deliver the oath of office. All right. Thank you. You're good.
To abide by the student government constitution and codes. To abide by the student government constitution and codes. To uphold the Carolina Creed. To uphold the Carolina Creed. And to represent my constituents to the best of my ability. And to represent my constituents to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. Are there any further consent requests or motions? Senator Bedinsky. Granted. Any other further consent requests or motions? Seeing no more motions, is there a motion to dispense of the motion period? Is there a second? Without objection, so ordered. We are now on the call of the introduction of new legislation. The clerk will read.
SBL 11493, introduced by Speaker Pro Tempore Lloyd, a bill to restructure positions within the office of the Student Body Vice President.
Speaker Pro Tempore Lloyd is recognized to speak on this legislation.
All right, so, hello everyone. This bill is the result of Maya kind of coming to us and wanting to see some changes reflected inside the VP's office, essentially this term. She appointed a director of programming as well as, I believe, a director of outreach as well. And essentially, these would codify them into the codes. The director of programming would essentially be responsible for not overseeing, but like keeping an eye on programming events run by the VP's office, because it is the Office of Programming, as well as a couple other duties that you see listed in the thing. And then the director of outreach would be responsible for kind of coordinating with the university run events, such as, say, in the future, Bustle at the Russell, et cetera, et cetera. And then I believe I also have one amendment to add to this bill. That is because we basically, we wanted to do a committee inside the director of programming's office, so that way the VP's office can use that to staff events run by the Office of Programming. And then we initially had that reflected on the Director of Outreach as well, but then we came to the conclusion that it probably isn't viable for the outreach to have a whole committee of people, so they're just going to have a deputy director, and that's what that amendment fixes. So a motion to add Amendment 1.
There's been a motion to add Amendment 1 to SBL 11493. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The amendment is added.
And then, once again, this was the legislation that we are going to let go to the second reading calendar, although the second reading calendar will be in the 115th Senate. So essentially, we will just be voting to push it towards then, and then we will see how it goes in the 115th. And with that, I yield to questions.
The Speaker Pro Tempore yields to questions. Are there any questions for Speaker Pro Tempore Lloyd? Seeing none. Thank you. Seeing no more questions, this bill is referred to the Judiciary Committee. Continuing on the call of new legislation, the clerk will read.
SBL 11494, introduced by the Rules Committee, a resolution to recognize the contributions and accomplishments of Student Body President Reedy Newton to student government, the University of South Carolina, and the USC Student Body.
The Speaker pro tempore is recognized to speak on this legislation.
So, following in the tradition of previous Senates, we wrote resolutions for each of our lovely execs to thank them for their servitude as well as their accomplishments. So, Reedy obviously began in LAN, and last term moved up to the Secretary of Government Relations. And now she has served as our student body president from 2022 to 2023. Through this office, she's been able to successfully advocate for the transition from a more decentralized academic advising model to a more centralized one, which we are all incredibly grateful for, as well as assist with the onboarding of a ton of new university officials, because over the past couple of years we have had a lot of interim people, most significantly an interim provost, an interim president, and under her term they were all filled. And then lastly, she led us through the resumption of in-person learning, which I believe was, yeah. So with that, I will finish this and I yield to questions.
The Speaker pro tempore yields to questions. Are there any questions for Speaker pro tempore Lloyd? Seeing none, is there a motion?
Motion to pass by acclamation.
There's been a motion to pass SBL 11494 by acclamation. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. SBL 11494 is adopted. Continuing on the call of new legislation, the clerk will read.
SBL 11495, introduced by the Rules Committee, a resolution to recognize the contributions and accomplishments of Student Body Vice President Maya Porzio to student government, the University of South Carolina, and the USC Student Body.
Speaker pro tempore Lloyd is recognized to speak on this legislation.
Continuing with this theme, Vice President Porzio began in freshman council, and she ended as the Vice President of the Student Body. Through this office, she's been able to successfully orchestrate an incredible amount of programming events, as well as advocate for student policy. She assisted in the monumental growth of the Carolina Closet and the Swipe Out Hunger programs, which there will be a legislation on the second reading calendar that the Carolina Closet was so successful that the university is taking it over as a university program and taking it out of student government. And then lastly, she, as vice president, she inspired the next generation of student government leaders overseeing freshman council. And, well, she made a striking impact on this university that will leave a lasting mark on the student body. And with that, I yield the questions.
The Speaker pro tempore yields to questions. Are any questions for Speaker pro tempore Lloyd? Seeing none.
Motion to pass by acclamation.
There's been a motion to pass SBL 11495 by acclamation. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. SBL 11495 is adopted. Continuing on the call of new legislation, the clerk will read.
SBL 11496, introduced by the Rules Committee, a resolution to recognize the contributions and accomplishments of Speaker of the Student Senate, Natalie Trimble, to student government, the University of South Carolina, and the USC Student Body.
Speaker pro tempore Lloyd is recognized to speak on this legislation.
All right. Well, I can't find it in the introduced legislation, but I will speak based off of memory. What?
You're good.
Okay. So, as we all know, Natalie came into serving as our speaker quite late into the term, but I don't think that we can dispute that she hasn't made an impact. Through humility, determination, as well as a lot of professionalism, she has been able to see us grow as senators and encourage us not to yell at each other, but really show respect and ensure that we get things done for the student body. I think that her term as speaker was one of the most successful that I've seen, albeit how short it's been, but it has been my privilege to be a student senator under Speaker Trimble. And with that, I yield the questions.
The Speaker pro tempore yields to questions. Are there any questions for Speaker pro tempore Lloyd? Seeing none.
Motion to pass by acclamation.
There's been a motion to pass SBL 11496 by acclamation. All in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. SBL 11496 is adopted. Continuing on the call of new legislation, the clerk will read.
SBL 11497, introduced by the Rules Committee, a resolution to recognize the contributions and accomplishments of Secretary of Finance David Moryosef to student government, the University of South Carolina, and the USC Student Body.
Speaker Pro Tempore Lloyd is recognized to speak on this legislation.
So we, as a Rules Committee, felt that it would be unfair to not recognize the accomplishments of David Moryosef in his role as Secretary of Finance. As obviously Secretary of Finance existed because Treasurer was taken out last term, it only makes sense since Treasurer is coming back to recognize the accomplishments of David because we know he really worked for it. David went to almost every single finance meeting and worked tirelessly in conjunction with the Finance Committee to use the entire budget, which I have not seen done in a very long time, albeit I've only been here for 2 years, but I haven't heard of it being done in a long time. Additionally, he's worked tirelessly to ease the upcoming transition from a Department of Finance to the Student Body Treasurer, and he helped and held multiple finance workshops and increased accessibility to the Student Activity Fund, which resulted in record-breaking organization attendance this term. And with that, I yield to questions.
The Speaker Pro Tempore yields to questions. Are any questions for Speaker Pro Tempore Lloyd? Seeing none.
Motion to pass by acclamation.
There's been a motion to pass SBL 11497 by acclamation. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. SBL 11497 is adopted. Is there a motion to suspend the rules to allow the executives to receive their legislation?
So moved.
Without objection, so ordered. Continuing on the call of new legislation, the clerk will read.
SBL 11498, introduced by Chairman Duty, a recommendation to permit the Senate Finance Committee to allocate funds to student organizations.
Chairman Duty is recognized to speak on this legislation.
So my computer actually died, but I think they organizations requested about like 3,100, I think. And then we allocated about 1,600. And the reason that it was only 1,600 again is we ran out of funds to allocate. So yeah, with that I yield the questions.
The chairman yields to questions. Are any questions for Chairman Duty? Seeing none.
Motion to pass by acclamation.
There's been a motion to pass SBL 11498 by acclamation. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. SBL 11498 is adopted. Continuing on the call of new legislation, the clerk will read. Hearing none, that completes the call of the new legislation. We are now on the call of the uncontested calendar. The clerk will read.
SBL 11480, introduced by Senator Farmer, a bill to remove gender-specific language from the codes.
Senator Farmer is recognized to speak on this legislation.
Hey y'all, so again, shout out to all the seniors here. Chairman Duty, thank you for the acknowledgement. And this bill is pretty much just to remove language that pretty much affirms the gender binary type of language that's currently used in the codes, and kind of to just put more gender neutral language throughout. But I yield to questions.
The senator yields to questions. Are any questions for Senator Farmer? Seeing none, thank you. Seeing no more questions, we shall now move to a vote on final passage of the legislation. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The legislation is adopted. Continuing on the call of new legislation, the clerk will read.
SBL 11487, introduced by Chairwoman McLean, a resolution to acknowledge the gentrification of the Ward 1 and Wheeler Hill communities by the University of South Carolina, Columbia.
Chairwoman Malachi. Granted. Chairwoman McLean, you are recognized to speak on this legislation.
Okay, so this resolution is to get the university to formally acknowledge that they gentrified the Ward 1 and Wheeler Hill communities what these communities are were they were predominantly black communities. They were taken away during urban renewal to build more buildings on campus, such as the Black PE Center, Darla Moore, Strom Thurmond, Greek Village, and a lot of other large buildings that take up a lot of space on our campus. So this is just to acknowledge that and then to also add information about that onto campus tours. So when we have new students come in or people who are just interested in learning more about the university, they will know that certain places and certain buildings are on top of, you know, a church used to be here or things of that nature. So that's kind of what this resolution is for. And with that, I yield to questions.
The chairwoman yields to questions. Are there any questions for Chairwoman McLean? Senator Ravi.
Yeah, definitely. And I know the Civil Rights Center has that, but it's not, you would have to specifically go to the center, but we can definitely like add that into the tours as well. I think that would also make it more accessible to people too.
Are there any further questions for Chairwoman McLean? Seeing no more questions, we shall now move to a vote on final passage of the legislation. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it, the legislation is adopted. Continuing on the call of new legislation, the clerk will read.
SBL 11488, introduced by Speaker Pro Tempore Lloyd, a bill to restructure the Division of External Relations.
Speaker Pro Tempore Lloyd is recognized to speak on this legislation.
Hello once again, everyone. So as per last time, this first one sets about restructuring external relations, moving it from a division secretary to just a secretary of government relations, as well as, I can't remember the other one, but it is in the bill. So, yep, pretty much the same thing as last time. With that, I yield to questions.
The Speaker Pro Tempore yields to questions. Are any questions for Speaker Pro Tempore Lloyd? Senator Duty.
This is the one that just tackles like renaming the office and everything like that. The ones that tackle like land, cat are the.
Are there any further questions for Speaker Pro Tempore Lloyd? Seeing no more questions, we shall now move to vote on final passage of the legislation. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it, the legislation is adopted. Continuing on the call of the uncontested calendar, the clerk will read.
SBL 11489, 90, and 91, introduced by Speaker Pro Tempore Lloyd, a bill to amend the structure of the National Lobbying Agency, the State Lobbying Agency, and the Local Lobbying Agency.
Speaker Pro Tempore Lloyd is recognized to speak on this legislation.
So once again, these three combined essentially changes a couple things. Specifically within the National Lobbying Agency, it changes from 3 major projects to 1, as well as changes the NLA report from being, due in the second session in February. Then SBL 90 renames the Local Lobbying Agency to the State Lobbying Agency, report twice per term. It moves the required cap from, it used to be like 60% of the members had to be from South Carolina. It would shrink it down to 50%, and then it would move the size from 10 to 15 people to 6 to 8 because there have been staffing issues. And then also it changes to where the report isn't sent to every single member of the General Assembly. It is sent instead to very specific people, for example, members of the Subcommittee on Higher Education. And then last but not least, 91 changes a couple things, like moving from 10 to 15 members to 6 to 8. As a whole, they all kind of do the same thing. There was also a lot of grammatical and spelling errors in the codes pertaining to this position. I think I mentioned last time that lobbying was actually spelled wrong in most places. So with that, I yield to questions.
The Speaker Pro Tempore yields to questions. Are any questions for Speaker Pro Tempore Lloyd? Chairman Duty. There's been a motion to add Amendment 1 to SBL 11489, 90, 91. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The amendment is adopted. Yes.
Real quick, that amendment, is that the one that changed the semester report?
Chairman Duty. Are there any further questions for Speaker Pro Tempore Lloyd? Seeing no more questions, we shall now move to vote on final passage of the legislation. All in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The bills are adopted. Continuing on the call of new legislation, the clerk will read.
SBL 11492, introduced by Speaker Pro Tempore Lloyd, a bill to remove the Carolina closet from the codes.
Speaker Pro Tempore Lloyd is recognized to speak on this legislation.
I forgot about this one. But essentially, as I said in my resolution speech with Maya, Carolina Closet was so successful that it will no longer be a part of student government. So this is just simply removing it from the codes because it doesn't seem right to have the VP required to nominate a Carolina Closet director if there is no Carolina Closet in student government. So with that, I yield to questions.
Speaker Pro Tempore yields to questions. Are there any questions for Speaker Pro Tempore Lloyd? Seeing no questions, we shall now move to a vote on final passage of the legislation. All in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The legislation is adopted. Continuing on the call of the uncontested calendar, the clerk will read. Hearing none, that completes the call of the uncontested legislation. We are now on the call of the contested calendar. Hearing none, that completes the call of the contested legislation. We are now in line for a period of open discussion. Does any senator wish to bring a matter of attention to the body? Speaker Pro Tempore Lloyd.
So I just wanted to save my little thank you speech for the end because I had a lot in my pro temp update. But I'll make it short because I know we are all wanting to get out of here. So when I joined Senate last March, I was looking around at a lot of different faces. Over this term, this body has changed quite a bit, and I kind of think it was for the better. Despite this body changing so much, this Senate has truthfully been the most representative of the interests of the student body that I have seen. From recommendations to improve campus infrastructure, resolutions to improve and better campus advising, and to bills that reformed our codes to be more equitable. It's been incredible. So not only have I been able to serve with committed senators, I had the privilege to serve with Speaker Trimble, who, through devotion, compassion, and some serious patience, brought senators together and encouraged our potential and helped make this university the best in the state. So it is for all this reason and more that I am delighted and excited to say that I served in the 114th Senate. And with that, long live Speaker Trimble, and I yield to questions.
The Speaker Pro Tempore yields to questions. Are there any questions for Speaker Pro Tempore Lloyd? Seeing none, thank you. Does any senator wish to bring a matter of attention to the body? Senator Ravi.
Don't be fooled by the dress. I haven't done my laundry this week. But on that note, I would really like to give a big shout out to the chairman of the Health and Safety Committee, the past chairwoman of the Health and Safety Committee, and the chairman of the Sustainability Committee, the committees that I'm in, because they have put up with every single thing that I have ever told them, and they have been incredibly patient with me as I am a first-term senator. So thank you guys for that, and thank you for taking me seriously. Even though I may not be there at certain times because I have got a lot going on. And I wanted to give a super special shout out to Speaker Trimble because she is truly the first person that made me feel welcome in Senate and kind of helped me erase that fear of not belonging, especially as somebody who doesn't have a political science or law background. I aspire to go into medicine someday, which is very far away from Senate. She's truly made me feel like that I have a voice in this body, even if I don't know as much about legislation and things as some of you guys might. So seriously, thank you for that. And I'm really excited to be in the 115th, and I can't wait to see what everyone in the 115th does. And I just know it's going to be good. And with that, I yield my time to questions.
The senator yields to questions. Are there any questions for Senator Ravi? Seeing none, thank you. Does any senator wish to bring a matter of attention to the body? Chairwoman McLean.
would just like to say it's been a long road in Senate, having been under Morgiana, Noah, and now Speaker Trimble. It has been a long ride. I definitely want to commend every senator in here because compared to the 113th, no shade, but this was way more cohesive. Everyone was a lot nicer to everyone. So I definitely have enjoyed being here. I hope that everyone continues to push the envelope no matter what the issue may be. Whatever you're passionate about, go for it. Don't let anyone stifle you. Don't let anyone dissuade you. You are the voices of this university. You've been elected to be here to represent them, and you should do that, and you should do that fearlessly. And so I hope that out of all the things that have gone on in Senate, out of all the things that I have done, I know sometimes I can be kind of a controversial figure based on some of the things that I pass, but that should just show that you should be confident in whatever you do. And don't let anyone tell you that you can't do anything or, that may be too big, because it's never too big if you haven't tried to do it yet. So I commend everyone who has been in this Senate, all the people who were in 113th with me, and everyone who is going to be in the 115th. I'll be watching you guys from grad school, cheering you guys on. So yeah, and I yield the rest of my time to questions.
The chairwoman yields to questions. Are there any questions for Chairwoman McLean? Seeing none, thank you. Does any senator wish to bring a matter of attention to the body? Chairwoman Tai.
Hey y'all. I just wanted to give you guys some words of wisdom. No matter what anybody else tells you, if you have a dream, an idea, or even just a thought, please pursue it, because you never know what will come out of it. And the people who are meant to be there and to help you will be there to support you. You just have to pass that vision on yourself and be the champion of it. And I want everyone to keep in mind that no matter what you do, always be honest about it, always be true to it, and always do what you feel like is best. At the end of the day, we are our own advocates, so please advocate for yourselves. I like to say I'm very direct. I hope that some of y'all have got some of that as well, because at the end of the day, I think that all of you guys have amazing voices, and I want to make sure that no matter what you guys are doing, if you guys have a vision, if you guys have a dream, if you guys have something that you're really passionate about, you get that out there. Because at the end of the day, change is only made when you make it. So please go out there and be the change makers that I know everyone can be, even if maybe you're a little scared. I believe in you. If anybody else doesn't, I do. And I feel like that's most important. So yeah, I yield to questions.
The chairwoman yields to questions. Are there any questions for Chairwoman Tai? Seeing none, thank you. Is there another senator who wishes to bring a matter of attention to the body? Senator Morgan.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise today for the last time as a member of the 114th. As this term draws to a close, I'd like to, for one more last time, thank my colleagues from the Arnold School of Public Health and Social Work, Senator Farmer and Bourgeois, respectively. They're seniors and they're graduating at the end of this semester. They will not be joining us in the 115th. Whether they believe it or not, they have made my experience here in the Senate meaningful and enjoyable. I remember when I was still wet behind the ears as a senator, after one session, I had gone to go get some Chick-fil-A in Russell First Floor, and I ran into Senator Farmer. To make a long story short, folks, after I told her, I was still trying to get an idea of who to sit with, what group I wanted to be with, she extended an invitation for me to sit in her row during session. Whether she realized it or not, her kindness truly spoke volumes about her, and that truly meant the world to me. It really did. It really did. And I was deeply moved. And as a result, folks, I sit there. I've sat there ever since. And then there is the Honorable Gentlelady from the College of Social Work. Whether she realizes it or not, Senator Bourgeois is someone who I admire deeply. She seemingly looks for the inherent good in every person and appears to give them a fair shot. I get a sense that she is genuinely invested in the welfare of others, even those who she may not know. Fortunately, there was a piece of legislation that I wanted to get around to and introduce, and I wanted to work on with her. I dropped the ball, didn't quite get to it. I apologize, but if the incoming speaker will allow it, I want to make her an honorary co-sponsor of that bill. Mackenzie Isabel.
I'm glad our paths were able to cross, serving the people of this great university, the best university in the SEC. On behalf of my delegation and all the members of the 114th, I wish you nothing but the best in your future endeavors as you close this chapter in your life. Godspeed to both of you. I yield the question.
The senator yields to questions. Are there any questions for the senator? Senator Bourdois. That was so sweet, guys. Is there any other senator that wishes to bring a matter of attention to the body? If there's no one else, you guys are going to have to listen to my speech. So I'm going to go all the way back to the fall of my senior year of high school in 2019. Those of you who might know me know that for about a month there, I was hospitalized. I was really, really, really sick, and it was, without a doubt, the hardest time in my life. And so one of the things I did in the hospital is I applied to colleges in the hospital. I applied here. I submitted my application very, very sick. And one of the ways I would distract myself through the night is I would just stalk all of the universities I applied to. I would stalk them on Instagram, and I would look and see what they were doing, where I could see myself fitting in, whatever. And I came across the Instagram for USC's student government. And I saw Davis Latham, speaker a few years ago. I saw this picture of him, and he was sitting at his desk signing legislation. And I was like, wow, that is really cool. Like, I was like, that is just really neat. Wouldn't that be cool if I could do that one day? And then, I was like, no, I'm going to be a nursing major. I can't do that. That would never happen. I don't win popularity contests. No. So I applied here. I was accepted. I came here. And then one of the first things I wanted to do is I wanted to join student government, because even though I knew I would never be speaker, I wanted to be a part of student government anyway. And I joined. I interviewed under the 113th. I interviewed under Riley Rogers as the chair of the Powers Committee, and shortly, the day I was confirmed, it switched to Dylan Pettimore's. So I kind of interviewed under both of them. And in my interview with Powers, I talked about how, I'm a military kid. I went to 4 different high schools. I never had an opportunity to hold any type of really leadership positions, because I would always, those positions were nominated for in the spring, and then I would move. And I just would kind of join when I could, but I just never had the opportunity to do something like that. And so I was so eager to join student government and make the change and give back to the community that I never had. And then as I progressed through student government, especially as I became pro temp, I sort of had a crisis. I said, what am I doing here? I spend so much time at the hospital for clinicals. I have so much work. Everyone here is a poli-sci major. How is this going to benefit me? And I really, really quickly realized after that everything you learn here is transferable to every avenue of your life, every aspect of it. It doesn't matter if you're a poli-sci major, it doesn't matter if you're going to med school, it doesn't matter if you're going to college of social work, business major, music, anything like that. It truly doesn't matter, because the things you learn in student government will carry with you forever. I never thought I could sit here as a nursing major and think that student government would be useful to me. I thought it would just be something fun I would do and I would enjoy. But I realize now, through the clinicals I attend, that I'm going to be taking all these leadership skills, these communication skills, everything like that. It will be useful to me. So I encourage all of you here, it doesn't matter if you're not going to be in Senate next term, stay with student government, stay with something that gives you leadership opportunities, because you will use those in your life. And then Noah pulled me in his office and he said, hey, now that you're pro temp, I'm leaving and you're going to be speaker. And I was shocked, not only because that's just a shocking thing to hear, but because I was instantly in that moment transported back to the hospital bed. when Davis signed his legislation, that post on Instagram, and I was like, wow, that is going to be me. Never in a million years would I have ever thought that I would be here. And now I am. And so I encourage all of you to hold that true to yourself, because you might think, I could never be in this position, I could never do this. Do it. You can. All of you can. I'm here to tell you that from someone who genuinely never believed she would be here, who is now here, that you can do it. I believe all of you have the potential within you. You even have half the potential to do this job, because you all are just so bright and brilliant, and it has been an honor to be your speaker. And so I'm not done yet. I'd like to take a moment to thank the people who have made my transition possible. I want to first thank the advisors, Kenzie, Cole, Megan, Ambra. I wouldn't have been here without you guys. There were so many times where I came to your desk or your office and I was like, I don't even know what to do. And you guys helped keep me calm and helped me just continue on the path forward. I'd like to thank my staff sitting over here. I genuinely could not have done this job without you, and I mean that. You guys, Jordan, you've been one of my best friends throughout this whole thing. You have really been my anchor throughout all the crises this office has had. Kaylee, you've been the rock for my whole staff. You've helped all of these lovely people right here do their job. You've helped me do my job. You're always on it. I can always count on you. And Hunter, I kind of stole you from Sean, stole you from health and safety. Thank you for doing the journal. Thank you so much. If you didn't do the journal, I think I would have fallen apart, because if I had one more thing to take care of, I think I would have just been really upset. And then Peter, thank you for coming in at the 11th hour to join my staff. You are truly like one of the most bright and happy people. Seeing you always makes me happy. And then thank you to Davon out there. He's not here, but he stayed on my staff, which really means a lot to me. Thank you to all the pro temps, to Jada and Aiden and Ian. It's been a pleasure to either, work with you guys, to serve for you, to serve with you. It's been a pleasure. You all have been wonderful to work with. Thank you to Brandon. You always submit your minutes. That's so amazing. I always can rely on Brandon to submit his minutes, and that's just so helpful for me and for Jordan. Thank you for that. Thank you to Sean, who allowed me to be speaker, because, if Sean wasn't willing or if he was too scared to take the role of chair of health and safety, I wouldn't be able to be here where I am today. Thank you to Noah. He's not here. I hope he's watching this. If not, I'm going to tell him to watch it. Thank you to Noah. He really saw what couldn't be seen in me in the 113th. I joined his committee first. Morgiana put me on his committee, and I really owe him a lot. Thank you to all of the chairs for working with me as a chair, working with me as pro temp, and then working with me as speaker. You guys are the ones that I've seen every single week without fail, and you guys are truly just some of the best and brightest that Senate has to offer. And then finally, thank you to everyone here. Thank you to all of the senators. I've truly enjoyed getting to see all of you however often I see you, whether it be just weekly at Senate, whether it be through your emails, through your texts, in the LSC. Thank you so much. I am going to miss all of you. So I'm not going anywhere. I'm still going to be here for another year. I'm not going to be in Senate. But thank you so much for everything you all have given me. Thank you for allowing me to be your speaker and for allowing me to serve you guys. And with that, I haven't done my Be Real today, so will you guys be my Be Real? Okay, thanks. All right, and with that, I yield to questions. Speaker Pro Tempore Lloyd. Yes, we can take a picture at the end. Miss Clerk.
Do you know that I'm going to be really sad when I don't get to see your face every Wednesday night?
Oh, I'm going to be really sad too. Are there any further questions? Hearing none, we are now in line for a period of announcements. Are there any announcements from the floor? Senator Bourdois. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. I could have done this during the open discussion period, but I felt like the announcements is kind of my thing at this point. Welcome to the month I am most powerful. Happy Social Work Month. Social Work Month. It's also Disability Awareness Month.
Triple threat.
I spent my morning at the State House, very sweaty, and then I came here to also be very sweaty. It's been a great day. Really consecutive sweatiness. Really excellent. But one of the big things I want to highlight while I stand up before you is that today is also Assistive Tech Awareness Day, but it's also Disability Day of Mourning. So sadly, a lot of people die every year of felicide, which is where a caretaker, a parent, or someone, sorry to end on a sad note, by the way.
Oh my gosh.
If someone dies who is a person with a disability. So I really want to challenge everyone to think about, the people that have died and have been victims of this time. Going forward, back on the happier note, I really do just want to thank all the friends that I've made in here, because I feel like I'm friends with every single person. Even if maybe I just learned your name last week, I still feel like I'm friends with you. If I see your face on campus, I am your friend. I will say hi, and people know that, because I have been like, hey, I don't know you. What's your name again? Because I just love seeing everyone and seeing you guys' beautiful face around this campus, because I don't get to leave my building very often, as you can tell. But as a social worker, it is my job to be there for everyone, no matter your opinions, no matter your beliefs, no matter your social systems, no matter who you are, no matter where you came from. And I really hope that I've done that for everyone. And if I haven't, please give me respectful feedback. I would love it. As a social worker, feedback is a big part of our career. I get it every Wednesday from a woman named Christy. She's very nice. Love Christy. She bought me a sandwich today. But also as a social worker, social justice is a big part of my heart. And going forward, I just want to challenge the future social worker, senator, representative, delegate chair, even if you're not a social work major. But I want to challenge you to be a part of the social justice that you want. I'm looking at the camera. Sorry if it's kind of weird. I'm looking upward. But I want to challenge that person to be as part of the social justice movement, of their choice, of their career, of the social work momentum. I really hope that I've gone through and I've given everyone a great brief of who social work is, what we do, and what we represent, as that is my constituents, and I want to represent them to the best of my ability. Throwback, Inauguration. I'm going to stop with the jokes. This is getting much. This is not a stand-up career. I wish I could do that, though. But I really do hope to do that. And going forward, for anyone who's maybe going to grad school, going to the 115th Senate, maybe he's going out of Senate, but still going to be here at USC, finishing their career, I still want to challenge you guys to embody the passion of social work, as hopefully I've shown you, and to also embody the ways that you have been leaders in this 114th Senate body. Because I've seen leaders throughout every single person here. Now, some special shout-outs that I do have. Announcement. Shout out Speaker Trimble for being one of the first friends I think that I made here, which is awesome. I really do appreciate that, because I was lost and student government was not really a passion of mine, and you showed me how it should be a passion of mine, and I really appreciate that. I want to shout out Senator Badensky for being one of the first people I talked to in student government, and I really appreciate that of you. I felt like that was a moment where I was like, wow, actually this won't be that bad. There's someone here that I can kind of connect to. And then, of course, I want to shout out Senator Morgan for that beautiful speech. I could have cried. You're here. Shout out, because, my gosh. And then I want to shout out everyone that I sit at in the table at LSC while we wait. Patrick and Aiden and Sean. And who else am I missing here? I don't know, Lucy. There's so many people at that table right before we get started. But, yeah. But I want to shout them out because I really appreciate that. I want to shout out Senator Bowie for saying hi every single time I see him in Russell House, because I really... shout out because I really appreciate that. I was like, yes, there's Senator Bowie. And I want to shout out Senator Hurd as well for having that great conversation in the Starbucks. And I really appreciate that. And I hope to see you go far in the Senate or in student government or whatever you want to do in your future. I really wish the best for you. And with that, I yield my time to questions.
The senator yields to questions. Are any questions for Senator Bourdois? Seeing none, thank you. Are there any further announcements from the floor? Senator Ravi.
Okay, one last writing group shameless plug. So as many of you know, I run a writing group at the Behavioral Health Unit for teenage students down at Prisma Baptist, which is right down the street. Currently, we're taking volunteers. If you're interested in joining, we've had 2 interest meetings. We're still recruiting. Eventually, we plan on expanding to Lexington. That will likely happen over the summer or through the fall. So if some of you guys are already onboarded onto Lexington Med, are looking for opportunities and things like that, definitely look into it. Definitely reach out to me. And with that, I yield my time to questions.
The senator yields to questions. Are any questions for Senator Ravi? Seeing none, thank you. Are there any further announcements from the floor? Senator Kuhn.
Hello, everybody. I have an announcement about an opportunity for everybody in student government. So right now, I just joined the committee for Mungo Teaching Awards, which is the most prestigious award you can give out at the university to a professor. We're actually lacking undergraduate students to help on the committee. So if any of you lovely people out there would like to help, like any experience, just please contact me either after Senate, my email, in person, anything. We are looking for people, not sure on the number of individuals, but I'm sure we'd love to have as many applications as possible. Seems like a really great opportunity to learn more about professors on campus and really award tenure track professors who really give all their time to us students. These are people who have been recommended by undergraduate students in the past, so I think it's really important that undergrads have a say on this decision. So yeah, please just reach out to me if you're interested. And yeah, thank you again, Natalie here. She's kind of like my mentor. She's the first person I really met. That was my first committee meeting. And also shout out to Sean, our lovely health and safety chair that we have now, my good friend as well. I've made so many great friends in this organization, and I really do appreciate every single one of you. Even if we didn't get to talk that much, I really do appreciate this experience and just, making friends. So I yield to questions.
The senator yields to questions. Are any questions for Senator Kuhn? Senator Ravi.
Negative. Nominations are done. That's the sad part. Positive, we get to pick the finalist who actually wins the award. So that's kind of the good part. What this would probably entail is sitting in one of their classes. There's only like 2 subcommittees, one who interviews, one who sits in class and takes a survey from the students themselves. Really good opportunity to see some experience that we can get. Also, the executive is more than welcome to send some people over as well. But it's just really good experience for undergrads to actually learn more about professors. It'd be really good interviewing experience as well, something you can talk about, maybe slap on your resume as well. So really open to anybody who's interested.
Are there any further questions for the senator? Seeing none, thank you. Are there any further announcements from the floor? Chairwoman Tai.